We suffer more in imagination than we do in reality. We allow our emotions to push us around. We do things that we don't want to do, and we don't do things that we do want to do. And our emotions cause us to act out instinctually like we're some type of beast. And I think this stems from a false or an inaccurate view of emotions. We think that emotions are something that happen to us, that they're not things that we have control over. But I don't believe that to be the case. Our emotions are actually something that we create. We're not slaves to our emotions, but we are the ones in control. So if we want to master our own lives in terms of being more intelligent, having more self-control, connecting with people more effectively or effortlessly, then I think mastering your emotions is a pretty good place to start. So to start with, how are you feeling right now? Truly, if you were to answer me in just a couple words, what would they be? It's a difficult question, right? Like what your brain is trying to do in this moment is actually a really complicated thing. So let me explain what's going on using an analogy to the best of my abilities. So imagine you're in a dark, tight cave. It's so dark that you can't even see your hand in front of you. So the only thing that you have to rely on to navigate through this cave is the feelings of the walls against your hands. And so that's exactly what you do. You feel your way through the cave, feeling the textures of the wall and trying to make an estimation or a prediction about what's going to be in front of you. Because the last thing that you want is to stub your toe, fall over, hit your head, and then die. But this is exactly what your brain is doing at all seconds of the day. It's trying to take in as much information from your sensory inputs and then run a simulation of what has happened in the past that is similar to this context, while also relating the internal state of your body. That's something called your body budget. Your body budget is this overall statement of what's happening inside of you, your internal state. So things like your blood pressure, your glucose levels, how your body is using energy, what's going on in your digestive system, how many electrolytes are flowing through your blood. All of this really complicated stuff results into different sensations in the body. And so your brain is trying to work out what these sensations mean in relation to what is going on in the outside world, but also in the context of what has happened to you in the past. And the output of that is a prediction about what you should do next. And all of this is summarized as a category or an emotional word. And so as you feel your way through this cave, you also get to feel the vibrations of the other people that are in the cave with you. And your body budget does adjust to them as well. And so the situation that we're in is life is really just feeling our way through it. It's all feelings, it's all vibes, it's all emotion. But this also means that if you're making a prediction, then there's also a likelihood that that prediction might be wrong. So even though you're feeling around, you might miss this lump of rock directly in front of your forehead, and you take one step and you smash right into it. That is a prediction error. Prediction errors happen all the time, and so you can't just take the emotions that you feel as a source of truthful information. Instead, that emotion, that general feeling that you have, and that category that you have made, might actually be similar to a mirage in the desert. And I'll give you an example. So there's a trend going around on social media about what different cravings mean in the body. For example, if you're craving chocolate, then you're low in magnesium. So if you went and you had a magnesium supplement, you'll no longer have that craving for chocolate. What's happening here is when you eat chocolate, your gut recognizes the high amount of magnesium in the chocolate, and it tells your brain, hey bro, there is a fuck ton of magnesium here, remember this. And so next time that you are low in magnesium, your brain runs through that simulation and it gives you the prediction of chocolate to satisfy that deficiency. But here's the thing though, This is completely subconscious. You never consciously become aware, unless you learnt about it, that chocolate is high in magnesium. So when you have a craving for chocolate, is it because you're low in magnesium? Or is it because you had a stressful day at work and you want some comfort? Or is it because you're bored? You don't really know. And that's why it's so important to actually question what our feelings are, what the emotions that we have mean. And I'll give you another example. Women, when they go onto the birth control pill, the pill adjusts their body budget into a particular state. And that those sensations in the body may be categorized as attraction for their partner. But when they get off the birth control pill and their body budget adjusts to a different state, there is actually a chance that they no longer have attraction to their partner. Like, it's fucking wild. So if you're a girl watching this and you're on the pill and you have a partner, then it's probably worthwhile getting off the pill for a little bit and seeing if you actually like your partner or not. All of this is to really just highlight that our brains are actually a pretty poor judge of what we feel like we need. We might think it's one thing, but when we question it and we look a little bit deeper, we may see there's actually something else entirely. And this gives us a pretty good cause of reason to be easier on ourselves when we stub our toe trying to navigate through this dark cave. Because our brains made a prediction error. We didn't have the right information at that time. But remember, you were still the one to make that prediction to start with. Your brain created that emotion. So this doesn't mean that we can't give our brain more tools to better navigate this dark cave that we're trying to feel our way through, because we absolutely can. Consider that you're a parent of a baby. The thing about babies is that they're not able to regulate their own body budget, and so they need you, the parent, to do it for them. You need to work out exactly what it is this tiny human actually needs. And you are the parent to yourself in this regard. You need to work out exactly what it is that you need to keep your body budget in top shape. And we'll talk about this in a little bit more detail in a few more videos because it's quite important. Chances are you have never experienced the emotion called liget. Liget is a word from some tribes in the Philippines used to describe competitiveness, optimism, vitality, in a angry and ragey type of way. So unless you knew the concept of liget, you'll never be able to experience liget. The cool thing about liget is that it's a very specific emotion. If you were in the dark cave and you experience liget, you know exactly what you need to do. But if you were in the cave and you felt this vague sense of anger, it's too fuzzy and imprecise to know what you should do. It requires further exploration of the emotion. One of the best things that you can do for yourself in regards to better navigating this dark cave is learning more specific emotional words. That's how you improve your emotional literacy. And you can do that by literally reading a book of emotions. I have a book of emotions that I refer back to every now and then to learn a couple new concepts I didn't have before. Consider your baby again. You need to learn the difference between happy cries, sad cries, afraid cries, angry cries, to best be able to satisfy the needs of this kid. And the same is true for you. When you have a feeling, really sink into that feeling. Categorize it. What emotion are you really feeling right now? But then question it. See if you can recategorize it using the new list of emotions that you have just learnt. And that might give you some direction that you didn't have before. I'll give you an example. I have a habit of injuring my back in the gym. And I remember the first time I did like a bad injury of it, I came up out of a rep for a Romanian deadlift and I felt like a pop sensation in my lower back. It sent shooting intense pain down my legs. And for a moment there, I couldn't really feel them. I couldn't get any power through my legs anymore. and it freaked me out. I thought I did some really, really serious damage to myself. But as I went through the recovery process and I had an MRI, I saw a back specialist, I was doing physio for it. No one could really tell me what exactly was wrong with me. And the recovery process took a lot longer than probably what it should have. Now I know what it is that I'm dealing with. So when I feel those type of sensations, I know that I'm not actually injured. The pain is just my brain thinking that I'm injured and trying to prevent any further damage. And so it sends information into the area and everything gets tightened up and it puts pressure on the nerve. These days, I just remain calm. I move around, I do body weight squats, kind of do some hip hinges, and with some movement, a little bit of time, within a couple of days, I'm all good again. And so that is the power of recategorization. Finally, accept your emotions for what they are. They're just feelings. They're just these concepts that your brain has created, outputted from the experiential model that you developed over time. You have more control over them than what you think, and you don't need to suffer as much as what you do. But that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was useful, and I'll see you in the next one.